Hey friend, a quick update for you. My website is officially live. I'm so excited. You can check it out at reneematt.com. And my name is spelled a little bit different, so people get hung up on it sometimes, but it's Renae. And I'll make sure the link is in the show notes in case you need to just click that and get to the website. But this website is where you're going to find all the things that I talk about here on the podcast. Plus, I've officially opened the wait list for my upcoming course. So, if you've been wanting some extra support to finally get those 5 foundational routines working for real life, you'll definitely want to get on that list so that you are the first to know when doors open. The new website is going to be your go to spot to learn more about me, check out those resources I mentioned on the podcast, and get that support if you're ready to create routines and systems that actually work for real life. So when you're done listening, head to reneematt.com, take a look around, pop your name on that wait list. I cannot wait for you to see it. If you find that you clean your home and it immediately starts getting messy afterwards, you're going to feel like it's an endless divide of clean versus messy, and there's no in between. You're going to feel like you either need to be constantly cleaning in order for your home to feel presentable, or you must simply accept living in a pigsty. But it does not have to be one or the other. We can actually create small, intentional habits that take minimal time to keep our homes tidy throughout the day without too much effort. It doesn't take effort, but it does take intentionality. So, today I actually want to share a few key habit shifts to focus on to help you keep a tidy home without feeling like you have to choose between constantly cleaning or living in a mess. Are you ready to stop the chaos, the stress, the overwhelm that's filling your life? I'm Renae Matt, and together you and I are going to build simple routines that are going to change your life. When you put these habits into practice, you're going to be able to organize your life in a way where you can be there for your family, pay off your debt, save money, your house can stay organized, you don't have to stress about what's for dinner, and you still get time for yourself. So without further ado, let's get started. Welcome to the Routine Advantage Podcast. Keeping a home tidy throughout the week, it was a hard concept to get behind because I didn't want to feel like I was constantly cleaning. So, what we ended up doing is we would push off any of the tasks around the house and push it off to Saturday. And Saturday was our big cleaning day. So, we would spend like all day trying to clean the house, get it back to like presentable mode and try and catch up on laundry, do all the tasks. And it would really take a lot of time. It would for sure take half the day, but a lot of times it would take all day Saturday just to try and get it back to the way that we wanted it and to catch up on all the laundry and put it all away. And it was just always so daunting. And it took up so much time on our precious weekends. And not only that, but we were also just kind of living in a mess all week long, and the laundry was piling up. The house was getting kind of grimy, and we would just wait until Saturday when it was time to clean. So we would push these things off and live in a mess all week long until it was time to waste half of the weekend trying to clean and reset and then repeat the cycle over. So it definitely was not ideal, but I didn't really think about there being a different way other than feeling like we were just going to be constantly cleaning. And I never wanted to do that. So I started making some shifts, and that's when I started doing the daily 7 home routine where it was like, okay, I can pick a couple of things that I can do each day. I can do it in very minimal time to reset our home, and that's that. So I started doing these things and I started repeating them over and over. And I definitely have episodes if you need to go back and look at those or listen to those and build your daily 7 home routine to help you out with that. But what we ended up doing was focusing on the daily 7 home routine to reset our home, which was amazing because that helped us stay on top of laundry throughout the week. It helped us to kind of reset our home so it didn't feel like it was just getting totally destroyed all throughout the week. But when I started doing that consistently, I noticed there were still a few things that if I wasn't paying attention to them, it took me longer to complete the daily 7 home routine because there were things that would just kind of get destroyed in between there. And it's like, okay, so now that we have the solution solved for doing these daily tasks, what are some other things that could help us maintain a tidy home? And I started focusing on these things. And what I realized was that it didn't take any additional time or effort to do these other little habits, but it did take intentionality because these were things that were going to need to be done anyway. And if I pushed them off, it became more of a project or more of a task to try and complete these things later. When if I did them at the moment, it just became a habit and it became something that was just part of my day. And I started to do it automatically without even really thinking about it. And our house has been more tidy than it has ever been before because I don't stress if somebody is stopping by. Actually, I'll share a quick story because I think this is kind of funny. We don't live in a day where those quick drop-ins from friends or family are very often, at least for me and our family. Like we generally know when people are coming and we a lot of times know well ahead of time, like days ahead of time if somebody's going to be stopping by. We don't get like just random drop-ins. However, our house is now maintained in a way that we would be okay with that. And to prove that, it was kind of funny. It was a few weeks ago at the time of this recording. But I got a call. I was coming home from church because my husband was out of town that weekend, but I was coming home from church and I got a call from my brother. And so I was talking to him and he's like, "Are you up for company?" And I said, "Yeah, that sounds great." Like when because we live like 3 hours away from him. And I was like, "Well, what are you thinking?" And he's like, "We're like 3 minutes away." And they were just like literally 2 blocks away from our house. They were in the area. They had gone on a weekend getaway and we live in a really beautiful area. So they had come up and spent the weekend and they were going to drop in on their way back through. And I didn't know that. So he was said that and I was on my way home from church. So we got home or to our house at the same time. And in my past, like that would have just been absolutely terrifying because our house probably would have been destroyed. It would have been gross. It would have been not presentable for guests I would have been really embarrassed because we just let things build until it's time to clean and then we would reset everything. So unless they timed that perfectly, it would have been pretty embarrassing. So, now that we have these things in place, he said that they were stopping by, and I was like, "Okay, like, let's you just come on by." Like, our house was perfectly fine to have company. And that never would have been the case. And having these small intentional habits is totally what has changed the game for that and having these routines in place. So our daily 7 home routine has been able to maintain this and then these small habits between times of cleaning is what's going to help you keep that daily 7 home routine very quick and efficient. If you find that you are spending all morning trying to accomplish your daily 7 home routine, then something else needs to change, or we need to look at where like distractions might be happening or how to more quickly get things done within that routine because that routine is only intended to be 30 minutes or less. So some of these might be some of the habits that you want to look at between times of doing your daily 7 home routine. And if you want to take a look at that more in depth, we can definitely talk about that. I do have some one-on-one coaching spots available. They are limited, but we can do that. Or if you want to get on the wait list, I have a course coming up. Like that's super exciting. So if there isn't information already released about it at the time of this recording, I'm not sure when this is released if it will be ready to go yet. But if it is, if the wait list is still going on, you can get all the information at renaemat.com and everything will help you out there. So if you need to look at the course, whether it's available or not, if you need to look at coaching, anything like that, that will help you out if we need to actually like dive in a little bit more strategically into your routines and how to fix those. But what we're looking at today is all the little things that need to be done between. So we don't want to take extra time, but if you find that there are things that you are doing that you're pushing off because you can just do them later, but it would honestly take you either as much time or even less time to just do it right now rather than putting it on a task list for later or just trying to remember it later, just do it now. Because if you start shifting the habit of do it now, don't do it later, is if you start doing that, you will find that it becomes automatic. You don't feel like you're constantly cleaning. It is just as much effort to put something down where it doesn't go as it does to put something down where it does go. So we need to pay attention to those little habits in between, and that will be the key to helping us maintain a tidy home all the time, or at least most of the time. So some of the examples about doing things like this is like changing the toilet paper roll. If you are pulling out a roll of new toilet paper, change the roll. Don't just set it on top of an empty roll. Eh, Just change the roll. And I even actually like if I see that it's getting low, I will actually change the roll and then put the one that just has a few like uh squares. I don't know why I'm trying to come up with the words. Just a little bit of toilet paper left on the roll. I'll put that on top so that somebody that is going into the bathroom after me can use up the last of it, throw that in the garbage, and the roll is already set. So it's just like something nice to do for the next person that's going to use the bathroom. But it's something like that where it feels a little bit messy if the roll is empty, where you can just change the roll now. It's one less thing to do later and you're sitting there doing nothing anyway, right? So just do it. Another thing is putting dishes in the sink or dishwasher instead of just letting them pile up. So if you are putting dishes in the sink, think about what you're doing. Is it just as easy to rinse it off and throw it in an empty dishwasher or to rinse it off or actually like even just wash it out really quickly and put it on a towel or a rack to dry? So when you are doing that, it might feel like it's more time to do that effort right now, but when it comes later, you're going to have a lot more tasks to do if you have let all of these dishes pile up all throughout the day. And now you've got this giant pile of dishes. Where if the dishwasher is emptied and you can just rinse out your glass and put it in the dishwasher, you're going to stay on top of these tasks. And people in your household, too, like if the dishwasher is empty and people can start learning how to just quickly put their dish in the dishwasher, it's going to help maintain a tidier home much easier. Another example is changing the hand towels when they're dirty. If you notice a hand towel is dirty or is kind of ragged, just take it off, toss it in the laundry basket, and put a new one up. It takes seconds. And then you don't have these grimy hand towels in the bathroom or in the kitchen. Or if you are drying your hands, even if it's not dirty, hang it up nice and neat because it takes just as much effort to hang it up all askew as it does to just quickly like fold it behind each other and then hang it back up on the rack. It truly is just as much time, but it just takes a little bit of intentionality to make sure that you are actually straightening it and putting it back up or putting a clean one up. Another one is like eyeglasses on the nightstand. If you are just flinging your glasses on the nightstand and it looks kind of a mess or like kind of in disarray, just fold them up and set them down how they are supposed to be set down because you're literally doing the same action. You are just doing it a little bit more neatly. Clothes in the hamper. A lot of times, a lot of people will just throw clothes next to the hamper or on the bathroom floor or on the bedroom floor. And instead of tossing them on the floor, just toss them into the laundry basket. It is so much easier. And then you don't have to go and clean it up later. Another one is starting the load of laundry, even if it's a small load. If you gathered laundry and you have almost a full load of laundry, just put it in the washer because not only is it going to be quicker to fold and put away because you have a lot less, but when it comes time to gathering the next load, now you aren't going to be overflowing. Just do the small load of laundry. It's just easier to maintain a tidy home when we keep up on these things and we don't wait for them to build. Another example is walking by items that go where you are heading. So this one, for example, it was is something that I do pretty often. If I'm cleaning up a room, if I'm not actually going to another room, I will sometimes just set things next to like the exit of that room. So if it's in the living room, I put it by the staircase. If it's in the kitchen, I'll put it like on the counter or at the top of the basement stairs because the next time I'm going to the basement, I'm going to gather up those things. It does not take any extra effort. It just takes the intentionality. So if I have things at the top of the stairs that need to go down to the basement, I can very quickly do what I'm doing to keep things tidy. And then the next time I go to the basement, I just gather that stuff up in my arms. I go down to the basement, I put it all away where it needs to go. I grab what I need and I go back upstairs. And that is just what we're doing is we're just trying to be intentional where we don't just leave it where it's sitting and have to just go through our house and clean up all this stuff later. Like, just put it where you are going to go, and then the next time you're headed that way, grab what you need. If you have things at the bottom of the stairs, I was cleaning up and I was putting the laundry basket because I had just done the load of laundry and I had the laundry basket. Well, it was going to take extra time to get it upstairs and then come back down and make lunch and everything like that. So I just put the laundry basket at the bottom of the stairs. I went and made lunch. I cleaned up from lunch. And then when I was going back upstairs to go to my office, I grabbed the laundry basket at the bottom and I went and I put it back in the linen closet and closed the door and then went back into my office. It did not take me extra time other than just a few seconds to do that, and it just helped keep the home tidy as I was going through. So, it's things like that where I never would have done something like that before, but now that I'm aware of it and I'm thinking about these things, I can make those decisions and I can do them quickly, and then once I do that enough times, I don't even think about it. I just start doing that automatically. Where if I'm walking into a room or I'm walking out of a room to somewhere else, I just automatically look for some of the items and I go into that other space and put them away. I do it without even thinking about it now. So I don't feel like I'm cleaning all the time, but I am just maintaining our tidy home. Another one is like your hair clips or hair products. When you do your hair, put the things away. Just put it away because it's just as much effort to put it in the drawer or put it in the cupboard or do something like that than it is to set it down on the counter. Same with your makeup. When you are doing your makeup, put it all away. It takes seconds to put everything back in your makeup bag and put it away than it does to, keep everything splattered around all over the counter. When you are getting ready in the morning, your toothbrush, your toothpaste, your floss, all of that stuff, don't leave it on the bathroom counter. Just put it away, and then you don't have to go back and clean it up later. Another example is the rugs. If they are kind of just scattered across the living room or your kitchen or your bathroom and they're kind of messy, just go and straighten them up. Like it's things like that where if we're walking by it and we notice that it is in disarray, just straighten it and you're going to find that these things just start to be maintained throughout the day much easier. Another example is your groceries. If you are bringing groceries home and you have a tendency to kind of leave them on the counter or you put groceries away, but then the grocery bags or like the sacks or whatever you're using tends to just sit on the counter all day long, just do those things right away. Just put it away and then your kitchen counters are reset as soon as you get home because you put everything away where it needed to go and now you no longer have to do that later. Another thing is coming in from outside is if you have things coming in from the car, if you have kids bringing home things from school, have a habit of making sure those things are addressed as soon as they come in the door. Do backpacks need to go and get hung up somewhere? Do they need to be emptied? Do lunch boxes need to be emptied and, rewashed or put in the dishwasher or anything like that? Just do them immediately when you get home and then it doesn't push it off until later and then you'd have a whole list of things to do. You can do it very quickly or your kids can do it very quickly and then it no longer has to be something that needs to be done later. It's just automatic. You do it when it's time and now it's maintained and you don't have to focus on it as something that needs to be done later. You don't have to stress about it. Another example is garbage. If you are like filling your garbage can or you pull it out and you tie the bag, instead of just leaving it next to the garbage can or putting it by the door, just take out the garbage and then come in, put a new bag in, and you are set. And it's going to feel better. You're not going to have trash lying around, and it's just going to feel so much cleaner. And you're going to have a sense of pride of just maintaining your home. Another thing is that if something is being set down, put it down neatly. Because, like I said, it takes just as much effort to put something down either messy or in the wrong spot as it does to put it down where it goes or put it down neatly. So, some examples of this is like if your clothes, if you are changing your clothes and you're putting the clothes on the bed and that's where you want them to go, take 2 seconds to just quickly fold them neatly and set them on the bed. You don't have to throw them and scatter them across the bed, or if they don't go on the bed, hang them back up on hooks in the closet or hang them back up on hangers in the closet or fold them and put them in the closet on the shelf. Like whatever it is, put it down neatly. Don't just tear it off and throw it down somewhere because you're going to have to have to clean it up later. So let's just take care of it now and then we don't have to do it later. Another example is like the eyeglasses. Like I said, if you're putting them down on your nightstand or if you're putting them down on your desk, instead of just slinging them wherever they go, put them down neatly, and then you don't have to feel like it's a mess later. Or papers. Like if you're putting down papers, straighten them and set them down rather than leaving them scattered all over the place. If you are kicking your shoes off, instead of just kicking them off and having them go all over the place and then you're tripping on them later, take your shoes off and put them next to each other. It takes just as much effort. Like it's so easy to just put them down next to each other, put them down neatly, and then you don't have to trip on them later. Couch pillows. If you are tossing pillows onto the couch when you're getting up, instead of just tossing them and making it look like it's all messy, just set them down in the corner, nice and neat. Your couch will be reset, and then you don't have to go back and try and clean that all up later. And same with the blankets. If you get done with a movie night, instead of just keeping the blanket tossed on the couch, just stand up, fold it in like 5 seconds. You have it a blanket folded, tuck it on the side of your couch and you're good to go, or like tuck it behind the pillows and you're good to go. And your couch is reset and you don't have to worry about coming back and cleaning up your mess later. So it's things like this that we just want to be intentional. It's very simple things, but we do need to take some time to learn how to do this. It's not going to be automatic. We're going to have to give ourselves some time to adjust, but what we're actually doing doesn't really take much extra time. It just takes intentionality. And I saw this quote by John Maxwell that I think is so relevant for something like this. It says, if your habit doesn't line up with your dream, then you need to either change your habits or change your dream. And I know this is not talking about a tidy home. It definitely is not, but it does apply because if we are not willing to change these small habits as we go, then we need to think about if our goal of keeping a tidy home is worth it or if that's always going to feel out of reach. Because if we're not willing to make these changes, then having a tidy home is not going to be possible because we're going to have to make the effort to have a tidy home by changing these small habits. And if we don't change these small habits, then we're going to feel like we're just constantly trying to deep clean and stay on top of all these things. And it's going to feel like more effort rather than just how we're automatically how we're living our lives. So you really need to think about if your dream is to keep a tidy home, are you doing the habits that you need to do to maintain that goal? And if you're not willing to change your habits, then you're not going to end up with a tidy home. So instead of making it this big dramatic effort of constantly cleaning and trying to do everything all the time, let's just focus on our little habits to maintain things as we go so that we're not constantly cleaning and we're not constantly doing these huge intentional cleaning sessions. And we're also not living where it's like we either have to have everything perfectly clean or we're not doing anything and it's just getting trashed. We want to live somewhere in between where we're not constantly cleaning, we're not letting it just get trashed in between times, but we're actually being intentional about our actions in between so that we can maintain the tidiness without the effort. So, when we are intentional about building these habits, it becomes automatic, it becomes more natural, and it no longer feels like a daunting task to reset our home with the Daily 7. We don't have to spend all day Saturday cleaning because it is maintained throughout the week. And now we get our weekends back doing what we love, spending time with family, going on fun little getaways, whatever we want to spend our weekends doing. We can just focus on the fun aspect of it rather than feeling like we have so much to do because we didn't spend our time intentionally throughout the week as we were living our lives. So, we want to focus on not putting things down, but putting them away. Don't do it later, just do it now. So do those quick things in the moment and stop pushing them off. Your future self will thank you for making that choice. Your home will stay tidier. And these are just simple habit shifts that we just need to be intentional about. So I hope that this was helpful for you. I hope that it gave you some encouragement and some hope that you don't have to spend all of your time cleaning or waste your Saturdays anymore. We can make these key habit shifts to maintain a tidy home without much effort. And I hope that you are able to do this and give yourself some time to adjust, but you can do this. It is possible and it is so much more peaceful. Did you love that episode or learn something useful? If so, would you do me a huge favor? My goal is to grow this podcast and help as many women as I can break free from the overwhelm so they can truly enjoy their life. The best way for me to do this is for you to leave a 5-star written review on your podcast app and to share this episode with a friend or in your Instagram stories. I appreciate you being here. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next episode. Take care.